Welcome, everybody, into week 6 of college football. Last week was insane. It was ridiculous. We could have gone for 4 hours in the recap show because there was so much football to get to. And we're starting to see a trend, and we like it, man. We've already got people that jump in the chat on the YouTube right away that have comments. We have people that they have such nice things to say all the time. It's crazy. Just, that your confidence goes through the roof about all the nice stuff. And guys, I think we're gonna read some of these. I think we're gonna have a little bit of the share some love on where we're gonna start, Wesley.
All right, so believe it or not, you were very popular with the Alabama fans over the weekend. They
Really?
flooded the comments, of
Okay.
the picks video from ahead of time and the recap and the video clip from the recap. So I picked a few of them out, and I want to give you a chance to respond. Give them some credit because even if they were kind of hating on you, they did help our numbers over the weekend. So here's the first one here. This is from Facts of Matter
Okay.
6513. David's dog tears taste the best of them all. He really hates Bama, so this is enjoyable for Bama fans to watch. I
Okay.
don't I don't remember you crying on the show, but maybe you did afterwards.
I cried myself to sleep, maybe, but no, I didn't cry on the show. But no, I mean, Bama played really good. Like they played good. They deserved to win. Like I definitely, I didn't cry myself to sleep, but I love I appreciate the respect for us in the chat and sending us the message. Bama earned the victory, baby. They earned it.
Charlie Johnson, 4823. Roll
Okay.
Tide. Maybe Georgia should have tried the black jerseys again. Couldn't have hurt.
Oh, those didn't work out so well last time.
They
those
did. Hey,
those
they
did.
did have the no. They did have the light up wristbands though. So I mean that was probably worth at least 3 points, don't you think?
I heard the atmosphere was electric. I heard it was elite, and that's even more credit like for Bama for coming into that atmosphere, being ready to rock and roll, and not making many mistakes, like not turning the football over, not having penalties and false starts. So to handle that atmosphere is pretty crazy.
And then last one here. Roll Tide 81406. That fourth quarter was a knife fight in a trash can. Roll Tide.
A knife fight in a trash can, a knife fight in a phone booth, right? Like it was, there was not a lot going on, but obviously the momentum swings were back and forth. Nah, we appreciate it, Bama fans. Like you deserve your kudos, you deserve your flowers. Like you did an unbelievable job, and I think it will be reflected in the rankings. You will like. We're going to get there pretty soon, and you're going to see our top 12 teams because in Bama fans, you will be excited. So we will actually get to them. We did the rankings last week. We'll continue to do them, man. The top 12 teams. Okay. It's the top 12 if we started today. It's not who's actually in the college football playoff. Like, it's the 12 teams that would be in the college football playoff. Numero uno. We're going to stick with Miami. Obviously, beat a good Notre Dame team. So much credit for beating a good Notre Dame team. Beat the mess out of South Florida, who had played pretty good for the start of the season. Beat them by almost 40, and then beat Florida by 19. When you watch Miami, you see all the recipes for goodness, right? Like the best 1-2 punch at offense and defensive lines in the country that I've seen. Gonna be a problem for everybody they play. They play FSU next week at FSU. Fantastic. One of the great games of the weekend. Number 2, Ohio State. And if you have number 1, if you have Ohio State number 1, I have no problem with that whatsoever. Like Ohio State to me, probably the most feared team. They're probably, when you look at the weapons, when you look at the way they play offense consistently, going on the road at Washington, that place is rocking. It's awesome. One of the best atmospheres in college football. And here's the thing I know about Ohio State, and y'all can tell me if you disagree. I think Ohio State has the best defense in the country. Like to watch them completely retool, rebuild, reload, and a Washington team that we talked about, man, having great weapons, a quarterback that can really, really run. It was really impressive because they made some mistakes early. Drive the ball right down the field in the first quarter, mess up with a punt, or don't get it inside the 5, fumble the punt away. Washington owns the time of possession. The place is going bananas, rocking, and they shut it down and won 24-6 on the road. And don't forget, don't forget the 14-7 win over Texas that you can't really dismiss either. Brent Rollins, I see you got something to say over there. I saw that. What you got?
There is no probably to them being the most feared team. They are. Like, they're the defending champs. They have the two best players in the sport. They have a ceiling to me that no other team has. Yeah, that they would, and they would be my number one. So,
and I have no problem with that. Like, I have no problem with putting them number one because they look the part. And I think their quarterback and offensive room, the way they coach offense and make it easy on their quarterback, I get it. I'm just shocked by the way they've reloaded that defense. Number 3, Oregon, probably not surprised. When we talked about it, me and Brent were talking about it this weekend, like just finding the top 3 teams, we felt like we had a good handle of who those are. Like from a talent standpoint. And then here's the thing. Oregon finished the preseason, right? So like they got their season, they got tested on the road at a great spot against a really great defense. And here's what I can't come away thinking. Dante Moore's the truth. Like, not just at home, not just against bad competition, when it's dirty, when it's muddy, and I don't mean the field, when the play breaks down, when you need to make a play in the structure, outside of the structure, he's as good as any quarterback in the country. Like, he is really, really efficient, really good. The line of scrimmage held up amazing in a great atmosphere against a great defense. Outrushed, outgained Penn State. It looked like it was going to be a runaway, but credit Penn State for coming back. Numero cuatro, number 4, Ole Miss. Definitely the biggest leaper in this. Like, they shot way up. Really good performance against LSU. Got to give them credit for that. I thought they fumbled inside of the 5-yard line too. They could have been even more successful, but I think it's the defense in the last couple of games. Not against Arkansas. We're gonna throw that away because that was ugly. But like the last couple of games, when you watch them play D against Tulane, when you watch them this past week against LSU, playing solid. The front is good enough to get pressure. The back end's good enough to play safe. And how about Chambliss? Like, he's been electric. He's been great. One of the best quarterbacks in college football. Like, he's shown you in a big moment on a big stage, he can deliver. So Ole Miss goes all the way to 4. Speaking of QB that delivers, John Mateer, Oklahoma, number 5. Now, this is interesting. I think people could maybe disagree with this because John Mateer's out, and however you feel about that. But I do think when you look at Oklahoma, I'm still impressed with a 24-13 win versus Michigan. It was a convincing win, outgained them, did great. And then they sacked Auburn. But they sacked them literally 10 times. It was ridiculous. Like, Jackson Arnold hasn't recovered, and last week still didn't recover against A&M. But I think we'll continue to learn a little bit more about them with their boy John Mateer being out. But I have no problem with them at 5 because of what they've accomplished. And then when I go to 6, I go to Texas A&M. How are we doing so far, though? We good with the top 5? We good with the top 6? I got A&M at 6. How we feeling, boys?
I think you're good with the top 5. Now, I do have a question for you, though.
Yes, sir.
Mateer, if no Mateer,
oof.
Do you think they can still beat Texas with Hawkins? In a
my answer before
first to 20 game.
My answer before the season would have been absolutely not, right? Like, but now you watch this Oklahoma offense, which is more in sync. It has more of an idea of who they are. Probably not without Harris running the football 25 times. I'll say that. Like, he's going to have to tote the rock. He's going to have to, because he's not the greatest passer in the world, but both defenses will be great. You're exactly right about both defenses being elite and that game being a rock fight. Like, half of Oklahoma, half Texas, which is fantastic, just like the Georgia-Florida game, one of the best in the country. Then it's like, okay, did Arch make enough gains, right? Has Arch progressed a little bit because we saw Arch struggle earlier in the season. But and here's another thing, Brent, like, here's the cool part about that. The thing I love about that matchup is, again, for college football playoff rankings, in the guidelines, it tells you that injuries are part of what they decide. So I think that's amazing, the fact that that's a little caveat that will be in play. So Oklahoma at 5, A&M at 6. A&M, listen, they haven't looked like a complete team, and they've given up points on offense. They've given up, against their defense. Offense will come and go and sputter a little bit, but a big comeback win versus Notre Dame, and their offense came up clutch when they needed to. They outgained Auburn. If you didn't watch the game, it was 414 to 177. Like, they threw a pick going in to score that would have mathematically eliminated Auburn because it would have put them over 20. And if you're over 20, Auburn's mathematically eliminated. Auburn was 0 for 13 on third down. So if A&M's defense continues to get better and the offense continue to take strides, watch out. Indiana, 50-point beatdown against Illinois. Like, is there a better win on the resume? Like, it was big for them last week for Illinois to continue to win and stay ranked. But Indiana beat down, and then a nice adversity win versus Iowa, right? Like, didn't play their best. Mendoza was talked about for the Heisman. Next thing you know, bang, they're facing a little adversity, but they do what they're supposed to do and win. Number 8, this might be surprising to some people. Texas Tech, the Red Raiders, 24-point beatdown over Utah. Have they played anybody else? No, they haven't played stern competition. But they have taken their open hand like this right here, this open hand, and everybody that's walked in the arena so far, they went whack upside their face and open palm slapped them in a disrespectful way, not in a good way, right? Now, quarterback position will be interesting to watch how they evolve. If that offense gets a little bit more explosive with that defensive line that we've talked about here on C-Ball Get Ball for a while, they're a good football team. And right now, the highest ranked Big 12 team. 9, FSU. Oh, how about the Seminoles coming in at 9? I don't know if people thought they would be that high or not. Huge disappointing letdown against Virginia. The comparison with Virginia's in the rankings now, which we'll talk about later in the show, which is interesting, but they're going to be way down towards the bottom because FSU still has one thing that's going to be huge for them this season, which is not what we thought they were going to have. 31-17 beatdown of Alabama. Beat down, belt, knee, bottom. Like, they beat them up. They outrushed them 230-87. And so that win and that at a conference, like, we talk about challenging themselves at a conference and how you prefer to do things at a conference. Like, that's exactly why you do it, man. Like, you do it for this because now FSU, it gets them up a notch. It gets a quality win on the resume. So, yeah, it could have been a loss, but because they challenged themselves at a conference, I think that's a huge thing for FSU to watch the rest of the way. Number 10, got Alabama Crimson Tide. How about, here's what I'll say about their win. Complete control in the Georgia game. 0 mistakes. Quarterback played great. Defense gave up some in the run game, but they did nothing to shoot themselves in the foot. They did nothing to hurt themselves on the road in an impossible atmosphere, an atmosphere that's one of the best in college football, the nation's longest winning streak. Like, you deserve credit. So Alabama climbs up from a long way down, and they jump into the top 10. And then I think 11 and 12, I really think 11 is the part that gets very tricky and that I'm up for debate. I'm up for talking about because Memphis has to go in at 12. So we'll do the drama thing. We'll do like Reese Davis does on television, like show you the one that's down below it because the one above has a little bit more drama. So we'll put Memphis in right now. But when you go above it, like, here's the teams you're deciding between. You're deciding between Penn State, Texas, Georgia, and LSU. So who you put in there right now, you could put anybody. Going with LSU. LSU's offense is not good. Obviously, they've been struggling, but their defense is insane. Their defense is still really, really good. So we got LSU at 11. That 7-point win at Clemson doesn't look as good. The 10-point win at Florida, again, if you put someone else in there, I'm not going to be upset. But 13, 14, 15, it's only supposed to be 12, but it's our show, so we get to do what we want to do. Like, those next couple, I think, Georgia, Texas, Penn State. So, any complaints? I see. I bet we don't have any in the chat. I bet we have no complaints in the chat whatsoever.
I got no complaints, but I'll tell you some things I love about this, and I know it's totally hypothetical, but when you look at the bracket here and you see that 9-8 with the potential FSU Miami matchup in the quarterfinals, that would be pretty sick. And then let's look way too far ahead at a potential Miami Ohio State national championship. That's like vintage college football
That's
national
like
championship matchup.
2002, huh? All
Yeah,
over again, baby.
sorry to bring back some bad memories because y'all definitely would have been in a playoff, by the way.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. The times have changed for the better. Thank goodness that we get to now do the actual playoff thing. So there's the Memphis. Memphis gets the group of 5 spot, so they naturally get ranked 12. We would not have them ranked 12, but that's the way it's going to work as we continue. So next we're going to go college football playoff eliminator. We do this every week, and so guys, talk to me, Brent. Who's eliminated? If you want to comment on anything else too that you've seen, but who's eliminated so far?
One quick thought is the AP poll has Florida State at 18.
18.
Right,
what do you think about that?
I mean, they're looking at they're saying it's a bad loss.
Yeah.
But if you look at Virginia, they go beat Louisville. Their toughest remaining games are at Cal and at Duke. They might end up being actually really good, or at least have a good record. And plus, it was the Friday night trap game, the ultimate trap game that we talked about.
It's tough, man.
LSU and A&M, if that was the 6-11, that would be actually flipped. A&M goes to LSU in the regular season, they would flip and go to A&M in the playoff. But in terms of elimination, I'm going former friend of the program and former guest Hugh Freeze, and it's just not looking good. I thought that Jackson Arnold would at least be maybe their offense would be competent and then potentially great because of the receivers, and it just hasn't yet. They have no identity. They're struggling mightily there, and with the 2 losses, if their offense was humming with the 2 losses and you thought, okay, they could get on a roll, maybe, but because the back end of their schedule I think is much better than what they've done so far. But yeah, I think they're eliminated. I don't think they're going to be doing much after.
And we're
hosting Georgia in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
that game is going to be at night, massive, and win the next 2.
It will be a similar atmosphere to Georgia too. It'll be a similar atmosphere to Georgia. That place is rocking. Yep. That place is amazing, and they're going to be hungry and thirsty. They got to figure out third down. They've got to figure out third downs. You can't go 0 for 13 in a game. You've got to find a way to move the football. The offensive line's good enough. Receivers are good enough. QB's got to let that thing rip, and maybe got to tell them to make some more mistakes, which I know that sounds really stupid, but maybe he's got to be willing to let it fly a little bit. All right, for mine, I've got Iowa. I got the Hawkeyes. My buddy, who is a diehard Hawkeye fan, his exact quote to me the other day was, "We just can't have nice things. We just can't. We just don't. We don't deserve nice things." And they had Indiana beat, had a chance to have a statement win to get back in this thing. Offensive line is really dominant. They actually had an injury there, which really stinks for them, getting banged up front. But I think Iowa, with Gronowski going out and their lack of offensive prowess and inconsistency, I think they are officially out, even though your coach is amazing. And just appreciate your coach while you have him, because he's done some great things. Wesley, who you got, brother?
All right, I got Pitt. Pitt blew that 17-0 first quarter lead against Louisville. You said it over the weekend. Louisville was sleepwalking. I have no idea how they came back and did that at Pitt. But my favorite part about the game, did you see the ball boy that went beast mode on the road, man? See ball, get ball. You want to talk about see ball, get ball. Zaphian Wade wrestled this ball out of a Pitt player's hands, and I gotta say it had something to do with the turnaround, and he put it on his social media. In case y'all are wondering, we got that ball back. I love it, man.
It was awesome, and that was a trap game for Louisville. You're right. Everything went right early for Pittsburgh, but gosh almighty, special teams were an absolute disaster. Disaster to get dropping the ball, disaster, awful, ungood. Pitt gave that game away. Pitt had a great chance to win it. They should have won the game. Credit Miller Moss for making some plays late. It's interesting. Next we go to the coaching firings, and we've seen a bunch already, right? Like Deshaun Foster and Brent Pry and Mike Gundy, and now we add Big Sam Pittman. Sam Pittman is one of the jovial personalities in the sport, just such a great dude, offensive lineman, good dude, good recruiter, easy to pull for. And it's not surprising what happens now. When they hired Bobby Petrino a year ago, we're like, all right, like, makes sense, coach in waiting, kind of a deal, because we thought Arkansas would struggle a year ago, and they had their moments when them struggled. But and Petrino immediately comes in, takes over the job, and fires the DC, fires the coast DC, fires the defensive line, which is probably what Pittman wouldn't do and didn't want to do. But their defense was very ungood. 35 points, 32 points, 56 points in their last 3 games. Like, their offense can score. That's what Bobby Petrino controlled. So I think Bobby Petrino has a chance to do what coaches do, man, to go earn this job. And obviously he has favor with the Arkansas folk. This is something that could help him propel him to the job. But I think it's very interesting when you look at this year versus last year. Like, why so many firings this year already? And to me, it's very simple. Brent, it's that literally last year, the first firing was Mac Brown, and it was the end of November. This year, it's happening a lot more. There was a lot more opportunities, a year ago to continue to fire people, but these are emotional firings. And here's why I say that. UCLA, you go get Nico, you're freaking embarrassed. You're 0-3. You lose to New Mexico by 25, you gone. Like, that's embarrassing. Yep. If you go to Oklahoma State, you lose by 66 to Oregon. I said that right. You heard that right. By 66. And then you lose at home to Tulsa. Like, embarrassing. Hard to come back from that. Then you talk about Arkansas. Like, what did they just do? Like, got ran out of the build. First of all, you lose to Memphis. Oh, you give it away to Memphis. Mistake it away to Memphis. Then you lose by 43 to Notre Dame. Embarrassed. And then Virginia Tech is the other one. So those 4 jobs to me that are opening, the reason they're open now, Virginia Tech embarrassed by ODU, up 28-0. The Boo Birds were out just like they were at halftime with Notre Dame. So more firings this year because of the embarrassment, and because of last year, in the Power 4, there was only 3 jobs that opened, 3 jobs that were firing. So a lot of guys hung on to their jobs, and now another bad season, another bad performance, and they're gone.
And there was uncertainty. We talked about this last week. There was uncertainty with all the rules and what was going to happen. So coaching change maybe wasn't the easiest thing. But the other part, that the emotion, what brings emotion into play more than anything for every human being in this country?
Money.
You're paying players, you're paying all this stuff, and that's the product. Oh, you're asking me for money to pay these players and to do this, and I got to go raise all this and raise that. Yeah. And now that's the product. Emotion and money tied together. And the other thing, are you sure Arkansas fans like Petrino has favor with Arkansas fans?
Yeah, you haven't seen that neck brace picture?
Yeah, but I mean,
no. Here's what I'll say.
That's buyer beware, by the way, for me.
But here's the thing. He was a proven commodity at Arkansas, and I think because he won and was successful, I think that will give him a chance to earn the job. Like, that's he has the opportunity to go earn it, and that's all you can say. But I think all of this, there's a couple cool things. Like, Jeremy Foley, the AD for Florida, always used to say, "What must be done eventually should be done immediately."
Immediately.
Yes.
Great
And that
quote.
comes like right now. Like, if it's going to be done at some point, here's the thing. I get in line. All these schools now get to be first in line for hiring their next coach. Like, they don't have to wait for everybody else. They don't have to wait to talk to people. They're literally looking for their next man. So Virginia Tech's got $50 million in the collective, right? Like, they get to go. They get to go raise that money, get to that next thing. I got a trivia question for you, Brent. The number one buyout in the history of college football is who?
I mean, is it Jimbo?
Yeah.
It was Jimbo, right?
$76.8 million. If you want to tell me to go away for $76 million.
Ed O had the best. I mean, Ed O had the best quote about it. He actually
line.
said it. He's like, we're going to pay you $7. You go pay me $17 million. Yes, I'll pack my stuff here. I'll go out the back door.
In a hard, he got $19 million within the first 60 days, 7.2 a year. And another good thing, it's always good to be an Auburn coach because Auburn coaches get bought out. And the next biggest was Gus Malzahn, $21.7 million in 2020.
The Arkansas job, though. I mean, yes, you're going to get paid and you're going to go to an SEC school and great tradition, all those things. But do you think you can really win there, given what the SEC has become and how other teams that were right by you now, like close vicinity, that have escalated? Why would you? That would be a hard job unless you're a younger coach and a G5 or something like that you haven't had that massive payday yet. Of course you go take it. But if you're a high end commodity and you got choices, I don't know that I would make that choice.
Yeah.
I'd rather go to Virginia Tech where I'm in the ACC.
They definitely hire. It's going to have to be a different hire. That's why Bobby Petrino, I think, will be on the table. But you're going to get those G4 coaches or G5 coaches, non-power 4 coaches. That's where you got to go. You got to go get a guy that's ready for a payday, that's hungry to go win, and that's okay. All right, next thing. This is going to be extremely interesting. I think you guys are gonna really like this, Wesley. Like, let's set the stage on this for Georgia and how we want to talk about Georgia and what they are.
Them dogs is hell, by the way. Perfect timing. Thank you, Alex Galesh, to win at Archie with that veer and shoot offense. All right. Look, we all live near Athens, and we are inundated with the vibes of this program. So outside of what happened Saturday night, okay, you're looking at historic things like Alabama converting 13 third downs against Georgia. Cole Kubelik shared that number on X. That's the first time that's happened in 30 years against Georgia's defense, okay? Wow. That kind of stuff was really frustrating to watch. But outside of this game, okay, here's some big picture numbers about Georgia of late. In its last 7 Power 4 games, the Dogs have gone 4-3, okay? 4 of those wins, you had to go to OT to do it. Now look, one of them was against Texas in the SEC championship game. One of them was against Georgia Tech in a rivalry game. You'd go to 20 overtimes if that's what it took to beat your rival, right? But the dominant days of Georgia football appear to be over. And a lot of Dogs fans naturally acting emotionally about that after being spoiled in those championship years and after. I mean, you still saw some dominant wins even in 23 and 24. So what is going on with the Dogs, David? I mean, 4-3 record. That's been crazy. Almost a calendar year since Georgia's had a halftime lead against the Power 4 program. That was at Texas last October. So we want to
hit that right there. I think hit that right there. Like, so nobody's denying Kirby's an elite coach. Nobody's denying that. Nobody's denying that Georgia can scheme up, can make adjustments, because they continue to. But here's the thing. What about these slow starts, man? Wes just told you, October 19th was the last time that they had a first half lead against a Power 4 team. They've played Tennessee, they've played Florida, they've played Ole Miss, they've played Georgia Tech, they've played Texas, they played Tennessee again, and they played Alabama. Like, they haven't had a first half lead. Like, it's starting to become an issue. Like, but here's a couple of things to consider when you're talking about. First of all, the level of dominance that Georgia had was ridiculous. And it was the last era before the NIL came. It's why Nick is gone. It's why Nick left the sport. Like, he knew what was coming. He saw what was coming. It was harder than ever, like, to retain guys, to keep them on your roster. And here's a consequence of winning. Like, here's what happens. Mel Tucker walks out the door. Dan Lanning, how's he doing? Is Dan Lanning doing okay in Oregon? Eugene, Oregon? How's that working out?
Really okay.
Really okay with his demeanor. I love Dan to death. That is him all the time, and I'm here for it. Fran Brown, he's doing okay with the Orange, right? They're doing pretty good. How's Shane Beamer doing at South Carolina? Sam Pittman just got fired, but, like, there's another guy that went and took another job who's an elite recruiter. Dale McGee took a job. Like, so many guys, when you have success, you start to get cherry picked, and you have to continue to fill those spots and it's not easy. It's not easy to do. He's done a really good job of it, but that's also, so you've had that attrition, and you've had the new rules come in, like the new NIL, the transfer portal, the new world. And Brent, there's a lot of guys, bro. Like, there's a lot of guys that would still be on this roster in the old day and age that would provide depth, that would be juniors, that would be seniors, that would be looking for that payday in the NFL to add to the list of all these guys that Georgia's had drafted that are now at other schools.
Yeah. And a lot of them even haven't played necessarily great at other schools. Some I think are impact players that they've lost, but it's also guys it's the depth pieces. But when you think back to 21 and 22 and even 23 to a certain extent, what was it built on? To me, it was built on the ultimate team where no place on your roster was a minus, and especially defensively. There was no area that was looked at as an area of concern or weakness, and you had depth and things like that to go with the playmakers. But now, because of all of these things, and because of some recruiting misses, specifically to me in the secondary, you thought guys were going to be big-time players, and they aren't necessarily, or they haven't become that yet. But two things. One, would we even be talking about this if they won Saturday and, the catch was made and they're 4-0 and potentially ranked, in the top 2 or 3? I don't think so.
Probably not.
Two, quarterback play. Like, it just hasn't been, it's been okay. He's not
2 years
hurting.
ago, Beck was really good.
Yeah. And
Beck
but no, I'm
was
talking
elite.
about this year specifically.
Yeah.
And there was issues with all sorts of other things with Beck, but and all the things around him. But this year, I think people would be very excited about their team, and maybe cautious about the defense, cautious about things like the pass rush, but very excited about their team if they were a little more explosive, if the ball was being pushed down, like the look of it. Like, just something that I saw today.
This drives me nuts, by the way. I love Smash. Like, Kirby also laid the foundation of who he is with Smash Mouth football. Like, and it's not like the offense sucked last week. Like, the offense was good. And if you make a catch that was perfectly dialed up and you got your freshman the play you wanted, you put him in that spot for a reason, like to make that play, he catches it. I understand what you're saying. It's not pretty. It's not sexy, right? Like,
not even that. It's just things that aren't plays. To me, the big thing watching it is there are so many plays, especially down the field plays, that just aren't being made and that are there. And if you make those plays, I think everybody feels a lot better about.
Hey, them dogs as hell is on board with you, Brent. I think the issue is that UGA is that our offense is not explosive like it was in 21-22. D-line talent hasn't been elite either. Okay, so we touched on both of those. Who else isn't here from those teams? Buster Faulkner's at Georgia Tech. Yep. Todd Monken's with the Ravens. Like, add that to the list of guys, too, that are gone. Like, it's incredible, the list of people that are starting to grow with Kirby's tree outside of it. But I think the defensive talent, Brent, I think you were spot on. Like, and I think everybody can see that. Like, you've got to find those guys on the defense that can make plays, rush the quarterback. But I also think that was the stupidest error in the history of football, and you'll never see another defense like that. I don't think you'll ever see another defense like that in college football. Everybody going to the league, everybody being drafted. It was absolutely insane.
I was watching Cowboys-Packers last night, and Javon Bullard and Quay Walker combining for tackles on the same play. Devontae Wyatt, hate that he got hurt. But look, man, it's not just the Philly dogs. Like, they're all over the place. But I want to go through these names really quick and some of their stats. Marvin Jones Jr. at Oklahoma, Bear Alexander at Oregon, Jamal Jarrett at USC. Like Brent said, they haven't all been studs. But when I look at guys like Alexander and Jarrett, you think of guys with the ilk of Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, those big gap-plugging defensive linemen that really set the tone and get Kirby's defenses lathered up. They don't really have a guy like that. They go with the numbers, but you've got Damon Wilson at Mizzou, who's lighting it up. He's like third in the SEC in sacks. Darius Smith also at Mizzou, Sam Mpemba, Xavier Sori at Arkansas, A.J. Harris at Penn State, Chris Peel at Syracuse, and then on the offensive side of the ball, obviously you got Beck. And look, this is not to make an excuse for Georgia. Every team is dealing with this, but it's just some reference, some context for when you see different games around college football on Saturday and you hear some of these names, they could have been playing between the hedges.
Yep, and it's a lot, and it adds to a lot. And we won't look back. We'll get moving forward, and we'll start looking at some of the numbers don't lie with Brent. But like, if you're watching Georgia and you're a Georgia fan and you're frustrated, I get it, I understand it. But you also won back-to-back championships too, and that has to be really fun. You have to enjoy that. You can't just say, "Man, this sucks," because you also won the SEC championship last year and you weren't excited. which I get. Like, success puts you in a different category. I get that, but I'll say this: with this roster, it's a new look Georgia team, and Brent asked the question: Is Georgia a lock to make the college football playoff? Like, Brent, no, they're not a lock. Like, they're not a lock to make the playoff. And before we get to your numbers, don't lie, dude. I mean, I think there's a better chance that I'll put it like this. There's a better chance that they lose at least because remember they went to overtime with Tennessee. Think how bad Georgia fans would be feeling right now if they were 2-2.
2-2.
Like their world would be collapsing. The sky would be falling. So
all right. So here's we go. Let's play the game that we played earlier in the summer. What's more likely? They're 8-4 or 10-2.
I don't think you want to hear my answer. I don't think dog fans want to hear my answer.
That's why the question is a great question.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think it's 8-4. I think because I don't think the offense is elite. And I don't think the defense is elite. So you're good. Now, here's the thing that could save their schedule. The home games, the ats. Like Texas coming to your place, you got a chance to save that. Ole Miss coming to your place, which is going to be a pain in your butt. You got a chance to win. Your bigger games right now are going to be at home. But if you were asking me that question, I think there's a better chance Georgia goes 8-4 than they go 10-2.
I think 10-2 is the ceiling, actually.
Yeah.
Is what I know. All right, so numbers, we're doing them every Monday, brought to you by Pro Football Focus, who I've worked for ever since they've done college grading, so since 2014, back in the spreadsheet days.
That's why his brain's so big. That's why his head's so big in the screen right now.
Actually, I've always had that because I was made fun of in college for having the largest fitted hat on the baseball team.
Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about Brent working for PFF and On3. Like, you talk about a dude, I coached football with him all growing up, a dude that knows football as well as anybody in the country. Like that bald guy right there on your screen. So give me some numbers, big fella, because let's start going now. Let's start spinning ahead to Miami and FSU.
Let's spin ahead. Three games that we're going to look at this weekend, and one of them is still a shocker when you think about it. Miami at Florida State. I think it's great. If you're a Florida State fan, it's not the worst thing that you're playing Miami very ticked off after the loss last Friday. But, Mesidor, Bain, can you block them? We've talked about those guys enough. But actually, some of the little things numbers-wise, who can tackle better? Both of these teams are two of the worst tackling teams in the Power Four. 52nd and 57th, respectively. Florida State's a little bit above Miami in terms of tackling grade. Can Florida State follow Miami's plan? Or not Miami's plan, but Florida's plan on defense, because Miami struggled in that game. Beck was 0 for 7 with an interception on throws over 10 yards.
Yep.
Didn't complete a pass over 10 yards. And then lastly, can they cover and can they tackle Malachi Toney? Because watching the Virginia game, the players that they have, he's one to me that it's like, okay, who matches up with him? I don't know the answer to that.
He's the only matchup nightmare they have on offense. Like he's the only guy that's now listen, they've got some backs that can tote it, but he's the only guy that like when he catches it, when 10 catches it, Toney catches it, you're like you're holding your breath because he can make people miss and Santana Moss that thing, right? Like with his speed and his ability to run. So I get that. That's a crazy number. The number that sticks out to me is Beck versus Florida. On 10 yards throws, 0 for 7. Like,
yep.
That's a recipe like, hey, bro, I play top down. I make you earn it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to give up the big play. That's a big
thinking
number.
back to that game on Friday night, how much did the Morris kid hurt them with his legs?
He did, yeah.
And that's not something that Carson Beck is typically going to do.
Morris ain't either, though. Like, Morris ain't the most fleet of foot either, but yeah.
Oh, but he at least made some plays with
Everybody's
his feet,
more fleet of foot than Beck.
Your words, not mine. If I had told you like 3 years ago that College Game Day would be going to Tuscaloosa for undefeated Vanderbilt at Bama, who's looking to get revenge because Vanderbilt beat him the previous year, would you have? How much would you have? Like, what were the odds of that?
I would have said like, there's as good a chance as that would happen as I'd get fired. Oh wait.
I mean, equally, they are equally happening.
So both have happened since then. So that is crazy to think about Vandy and where they're at. And these are two pretty different styles of football too. Like Vanderbilt's like the old Bama. Like Vanderbilt's like the physical maul you team. And then Alabama's like the spread it out, throw it all over the yard, like run game optional.
top 10. Bama's top 10 in the Power Four in terms of percentage that they throw the football. The other thing, and this is, do you ever watch Wheel of Fortune, or did you ever watch Wheel of Fortune?
Wheel of Fortune.
Do you know who the host is now? A little trivia.
No.
Georgia native. It doesn't Seacrest do that, I think.
Ryan Seacrest does that?
Yeah,
Good
I'm pretty
Lord.
sure. Wes
My man's
might
on everything.
confirm me
Good
on
for
that,
him.
but I think Seacrest does that. But anyway, when they do the final puzzle, they always give you what? R, S, T, L, N, and E. And then you got to pick other letters.
Yeah.
So when you think about football and statistics, what would be sort of the R, S, T, L, N, E? Hey, we got to talk about this. Or if the team, for example, wins the turnover margin, you got to take care of the ball. You can't lose the turnover margin. That's the analysis of this. Well, Bama's yet to turn the ball over. They're the only Power 4 team without a turnover. And Vanderbilt is number 2 in the Power 4 in terms of turnovers created. So
That's
something's
crazy.
got to give.
Something's got to give. And it's in Tuscaloosa this year too. So
yes. And the quarterbacks in this game, Pavia is what you thought, hey, how awesome was he last year? He's playing even better. He's taking a little more chances, but his big-time throw rate in terms of the percentage of times he makes a big-time throw, which is PFF's highest grade throw, is number 1 in the Power 4.
And that wasn't even close a year ago. He was not a big-time thrower a year ago. Like it was
No.
And I think the weapons have absolutely helped him for sure. But and they've evolved. Like Beck's done an unbelievable job on offense, just continuing to it's such a game of hide the hat, like hide the ball underneath the hat and move it around and what to look for. And then Simpson on the other side, dude. Simpson's playing as well as anybody.
Since Florida State, the last 3 games, 91.8 overall grade, 82% adjusted completion, which accounts for like drops,
that's
throwaways,
just
things like
stupid.
that.
That's
90.7 passing grade. He's been the last 3 games. He's been potentially, up there in terms of best quarterback in the country.
Crazy.
Last
game.
Now
take me to this one. Take me to this one because before the season, 2 elite 5-star quarterbacks, baby. Arch versus Lagway. The showdown. Over-unders at 89,460. Like, woof. That's not quite what's happened.
Texas at Florida. Do you, just a general question first before we get into any sort of numbers. Do you think these teams look that different after the bye? Like, does Florida look competent and Lagway look confident on offense after the bye?
Okay.
And some rest and practice.
Okay, here's my answer to that. Florida can't look worse offensively. It's impossible.
It goes up.
Like you can't tell me that Florida comes out after this bye and looks worse offensively. It's humanly impossible because what do you do in a bye? You go self-scout. Self-scout. Who's my best player on offense? Jaden Ball. Give him the football, run the football. If I want to make it simplistic on Lagway, so be it. I make it simplistic. But here's the simplistic part of it. I hand it the ball, I run it, and I throw deep balls. Like that's like make it simplistic. Make somebody commit to the box and then take deep shots. If you hit them, you hit them. If you don't, you don't. But yes, if Florida did not learn that in the bye week, then we're going to add another name to the list of guys that are not going to make it.
And I think in terms of the money part that we talked about in the emotional piece, if this game is ugly, I think he's added to that list. But you think about, hey, Lagway's hurt. Lagway's not truly healthy. How do you do that? Well, you just give it to Jaden Ball, right? They are 63rd in the Power 4. There's only 68 Power 4 teams in percentage of run plays. Among the lowest. So among the highest pass percentage teams in the Power 4. That's
and it's
insane.
not like they've been getting blown out. They've been in all of these games that they've played. So it's not like you were down and you're like, I have to throw. Like LSU, they lost by 10 and they threw 5 interceptions. Like it's not like you've been down. So I'm not giving you credit for that either.
And then you mentioned Jaden Ball. So if I told you that he was number 2 in the Power 4 in terms of missed tackles forced per attempt, so he's done a lot of that, just with not as many attempts. Who would you guess is number 1?
Oh, Muscle Hamster. My boy
Ahmad.
Hardy. My fantasy
Ahmad Hardy.
Quadzilla. My boy from fantasy, Ahmad Hardy, who's the best running back in college football.
And Ball has half, a little less than half, or a little more than half in terms of fewer amount of carries. Yeah.
Jeez. All right. Well, we're gonna get
So
that. We're
maybe
gonna
Florida
get that.
figured some things out on the bye week.
Well, they can't get worse. So let's get in victory formation. Victory formation ends the show because that's when you take the snap, baby, and you take that knee. It's the offense's favorite play call in all of college football, and it's the defense's worst because it pisses you off to no extreme. So victory
shotgun
formation.
still.
Brent, who you got?
Lane Kiffin. He won the week. The dude had a documentary about him. He, was on our channel. He was on McAfee. He was on others. He was on everywhere. His daughter was making the social media go insane. And then his team kicked butt and took care of business after getting down 7-0. And he does it with a backup quarterback. And that's, what's interesting. We talked earlier about Georgia and all the issues with the portal and all that sort of stuff. Lane Kiffin showing you that, hey, you can just regurge and replace and be just fine.
I got something for Podium Kings tomorrow along those lines of what Lane Kiffin said. That's so amazing. It's ridiculous. We'll play it tomorrow, but
you mean Wednesday? But anyway,
yeah, whatever day of the week it is. I don't even know what day of the week it is. All right, Wesley, who you got for your victory formation?
All right, so whiteout at Penn State was pretty sweet. Looked awesome. Always looks cool. But you know what's even cooler? When you go into the other people's building and get a win. Look at this guy right here. The lone duck, number 1, standing in the middle of all those white shirts. Big smile on his face. That guy is my winner of the weekend. QR code right there. If you're watching, by the way, follow C-Ball Get Ball on audio podcast, wherever you go. Hurry up. Take a picture. It won't be up there forever. But that's my
That's fantastic, Wes. That's a good one too. Mine's Virginia. It felt like it was 2 weeks ago because it's been so long, and it was on Friday night. But they win 46-38 over FSU, ranked for the first time since 2019. First win versus a top 10 team since 2005, and I don't think they're going anywhere. Like I like what Tony Elliott's doing offensively. Every Clemson fan's going, yeah, I know, I remember it. Like I remember when Tony Elliott was drawing up ball plays and we were winning at a high level. And it's, 9 different receivers caught a pass Friday night, and that's 5 straight games. Rushed for over 200 yards a game in 4 straight games. Like they've got balance. They've got an experienced quarterback. They got a good system. So tip of the cap to Virginia and what they've been able to do so far. Them dogs as hell, still in the chat, still giving us some positive vibes over here. And he said he's positive that the O-line for Georgia is better. That is a win for Georgia. So that's dog fans. I wish I had better news throughout this program, and I wish we could be bragging things, but we started with Alabama tweets, and then we talked about Kirby and the dynasty and all the things. We'll be back, man. We'll have some picks. Later in the week. We got Greg McElroy coming on, who just called the Ole Miss LSU game, which I think will be fantastic and one of the best at what he does in breaking it down. If you like the show, man, hit the rate, hit the subscribe, all that good stuff, and we appreciate y'all continuing to help us grow. Thank you very much.